They tried to ruin my life over a mailbox, designed with dramatic pacing, emotional stakes, and a satisfying resolution. This would work well as a narrated video or docu-style story. It started with a mailbox, not a broken one, not an eyesore, just a simple black mailbox with brass numbers, the kind you see in every suburban neighborhood. But apparently it was the wrong kind of black, not regulation matte black as the HOA guidelines specified. And because of that, I got a notice, folded neatly and taped to the side of the mailbox like a scarlet letter. Violation, non-compliant mailbox finish. You have 14 days to repaint or replace. Failure to comply will result in fines. I laughed at first. Seriously? A mailbox? But then I noticed the fine, $75 per week, and it wasn't a joke. I called the HOA office thinking I'd get a reasonable explanation. Instead, I got Janine, the community manager with a voice as cold as steel and about as much compassion as a robot. Section 5.3.2 clearly states the mailbox must match community design standards. Yours does not. The board will not reconsider. Click. That was it. No discussion, no appeal, just a fine. And when I didn't comply, because I genuinely didn't think it was worth repainting a fully functional mailbox, the fines kept coming. $75 became $150, then $225, then $300. I checked the mailbox design standards. The clause they cited had been updated a few months ago. Quietly. During a meeting I never heard about. Apparently I wasn't alone. I started talking to neighbors. One guy got fined for having non-uniform mulch. His was red, not brown. A single mother got written up for having unauthorized patio furniture, a folding chair on her porch. Someone else was fined because their Halloween decorations included unapproved characters. It was a plastic skeleton dressed as Pikachu. Something was off. Very off. So I started digging. The HOA board was led by a man named Harold Green, retired real estate lawyer, loved order, and apparently loved control. He had rewritten half the community bylaws in the last year. And worse, he'd made it nearly impossible for homeowners to attend meetings unless they RSVP'd a week in advance. Even worse, the HOA was hiring companies owned by Harold's relatives for landscaping and maintenance. I found public filings showing that the new landscaping company, Evergreen Management LLC, was owned by his nephew. Guess who was billing double the normal rate for mowing lawns? That was strike one. Strike two? The mailbox fines were being enforced aggressively, but only against certain people. My block, for instance, had received 10 citations in 2 months. But across the street, not a single person had been fined, even though I spotted 3 mailboxes that violated the same rule. Turns out the HOA board members lived on that side. I compiled everything: fines, photos, meeting notes, business filings. I made a website, hoatruth.org. It went viral in our community. People started sending me their own stories. One neighbor got a lien put on her house because she had a rose bush that grew 2 inches over the approved height. Then came the retaliation. I got a certified letter stating that my actions were bordering on defamation and destabilizing community harmony. I got fined $500 for unsanctioned community organizing. The board called an emergency meeting, not to fix the problems, but to vote on a new rule. Any homeowner who publicly criticizes the HOA may be subject to penalty. That was the final straw. I lawyered up, and I wasn't alone. Turns out one of our neighbors, Miss Carmichael, was a retired judge. She helped us file a class action against the HOA for abuse of power, failure to disclose conflicts of interest, and selective enforcement. The news got wind of it. Local stations ran the story. HOA under fire for abusive fines. It all started with a mailbox. Public pressure mounted. Residents who'd stayed silent came forward. Turns out the board had been threatening seniors with late fees and telling renters they had no rights. We forced a vote. Out of 134 eligible homeowners, 102 voted, a record turnout. The entire board was recalled. A new board was elected, made up of regular residents who just wanted peace, not power. We rewrote the bylaws, capped fines, banned board relatives from profiting off contracts. And most importantly, we guaranteed transparency. Every meeting streamed, every vote recorded. And as for my mailbox, it stayed exactly the way it was. Black brass numbers, still standing strong. Funny how a small thing can uncover a big injustice. They tried to ruin my life over a mailbox, but all they did was expose themselves and give us the push we needed to take back our neighborhood.